And as much as we can talk about the impact and effects of colonization to Africa, I mean, I think the French were the worst. If you look at, as if colonization was not bad enough, as if colonization on its own was not a crime against humanity, they went on and created this ridiculous pact that they have made their former colonies sign before they were granted independence, so that they remain in control and sucking the resources of those countries. The countries in the Sahel region, such as Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and the rest of them. I think it's about 14 of them. As someone from Southern Africa, I did not know that something like this still exists to this day. And we have to educate each other, because Africa is one. The suffering of a fellow African is the same as my suffering. If you remember very well, if you read your history very well, for Africa to get liberated, it took a joint effort for everybody to participate and help each other, so that we could liberate ourselves. It's the same here. The fight cannot end if colonization did not end. We cannot put our guard down. We cannot stop fighting for our complete freedom if the freedom that we have is impartial, if the freedom that we have is not full freedom. We cannot celebrate freedom if France still has her knees on African countries, choking them. They cannot breathe. France is still sucking so much wealth out of these countries. They cannot develop themselves because France still have her tentacles in Africa, taking away the resources of Africa. And I would just let this brilliant lady do the explanation of what this pact is all about. I mean, she has caught a lot of fire because of exposing what the French has been doing for decades and decades in the Sahel region without anybody raising their voices to them, with the AU leaving it going on and on like that, as if nothing is happening.
Let me start with the 14 countries that are former French colonies. Let me just give you a synopsis of the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. At independence, they had to give up 85% of their bank reserves, turn them over to the French Treasury. Now that has come down to about 60%. And if they wanted some of that money, they had to submit a financial statement. And if approved, you could only access 20% of what you deposited the year before as a loan at commercial interest rate. France would take your deposits of the 14 countries, invest them in the French Treasury under their name. You don't have to know what the returns are. Your language of instruction is French. Your minerals, discovered, yet to be discovered, France has first right of refusal. Your military, it has to be trained by France. You got to acquire all your military equipment from France. Do you think they're going to give you the best? France...
You've left out one important one, assimilation, cultural assimilation.
Yes. And then French military is going to be present in your countries and may invade you without notice if they feel their interests are being violated. What are those interests? A president saying, well, we need our money. We cannot continue to turn over our bank reserves. That's a violation. You could be invaded. And they did. Men were killed. There were coups. They were exiled. So now you take a leader who has given up his finances, he has given up his military, he has given up his natural resources, he is left with 15% of his bank reserves. Now you say to him, why can't you feed your people? Let's be real here.
This is not just neo-colonialism. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And thanks to the new spirit of revolution which is rising up in Africa, it feels like we are getting somewhere. There is a lot of energy, the spirit of revolution, and the wind of revolution is blowing across Africa. Everybody standing up to these shenanigans of the Western countries that have been choking Africa and taking life out of Africa for forever and ever, from slavery to colonization and to this day neo-colonialism and all their interference and their dirty political games that they keep on playing in Africa.